Hello everyone, it's Sal Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone is doing okay and everyone's recovering from the elements that was last night. Another loss for Manchester United. And you know what? Disappointed I am. Of course I am. I'm disappointed. We lose again. I'm not used to this. There's so many new. Well, I'm getting used to it, but I'm definitely not used to it over the last 40 or so years I've been supporting this football club that we've been losing so many games. But when I look at things and I look at things objectively and I look at the way the things are going and I look at things in context and I always look at things from above and I always look at things from fairly. I mean, ever since I was, Eric Ten Hag was in charge of this football club, when Eric Ten Hag was in charge of this football club, there's many people here that will say, we need to get rid of Eric Ten Hag. We need to sack Eric Ten Hag. Ten Hag is the problem. Ten Hag is the virus. Ten Hag is the reason that we're getting these players injured, etc. When is it going to be a time that we're going to start looking at things from a more intelligent point of view? When is there going to be a time where we're going to look at things and say, do you know what? Maybe it's not just the manager and the players. Maybe it's not the players' fault as such. I mean, it is their fault. They're on the pitch. But, maybe it is a fundamental problem within the football club that resonates from the top. Maybe that is what the problem is. And when we start looking at things from a more deeper point of view, then you get to understand the true meaning of what the problem is with Manchester United, Now, yesterday we lost the game. Yesterday we lost the game due to lack of quality. We lost the game due to an inability to put the ball in the back of the net. When you're given an opportunity, like Garnacho had this opportunity, you put the ball into the back of the net. We seem to be missing a lot of chances like this. And I cannot count how many chances we have missed over the last few months, guys. And, these misses are costly. They're costly at the end of the season. And you know what? We're not scoring enough goals, but we haven't scored goals for a long time now. Even before, and during the Eric Ten Hag days, we were not scoring goals. And we have to look at this from a very intelligent point of view and think about, are these players actually good enough? And have we tooted their horn a bit too much, so to speak? Have we blown smoke up their backside too much? What is it? At the end of the day? Because I can tell you right now, just like I told you guys, when Eric Ten Hag was the manager of Manchester United, I told you a new manager would come in, he will not win games. He will not win games. And this is exactly what I would say with Ruben Amorim. You can talk about Ruben Amorim losing his job. There's some people who can talk about Ruben Amorim being sacked. But the new manager's not going to win you games, guys. Let me tell you right now. Now, people are going to throw at me. People are going to say, oh, but David Moyes, he's made Everton play like this. He's made Everton play like that. There's a big difference between Manchester United and Everton. Everton are a far smaller club than Manchester United. There's less pressure on Everton to do anything. They've never done anything in their history, basically, since 1985. 1995 was the last cup they won, which was against Man United, funny enough, when we lost the league and the cup on the same week. And, there is a big fundamental difference between that and what's going on right now. With Ruben Amorim's task is to get a Manchester United side, right, coming into an absolute shit show of a mess, which he has done, not being backed in a transfer window, trying to implement a style of football, that is unique, and he's loyal to that style of football. It's the only style of football he knows, right? And to be honest with you, most of the great players, managers only play one style of football. Only style of football he knows. And then he's tasked with handling problems off the pitch, including the Marcus Rashford episode, of course, and various other episodes he's had already, exactly what Eric Ten Hag had to deal with. Then he's tasked with getting this bunch of players, right, who are serial underachievers, right, from there to there, right? Now, I don't care, guys, and I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I don't care whether we're 15th or 10th. I don't really care, because at the end of the day, Man United should be challenging for the league, in my opinion. That is where we should be. I don't care if we're 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. I don't care. I really don't, because for me, Man United should be challenging at the top. Man United should be challenged for Champions League. Man United should challenge for leagues. That's where Man United should be. Now, look, I've been around a long time, and I've seen great teams come and go, and to be honest with you, what I'm seeing with this football team is that it's a lack of quality, a lack of ruthlessness, We don't capitalize on our opportunities. Garnacho equalizes yesterday. It's 1-1. And who knows what would have happened from there? Maybe we would have went on to win the game. That is how football is. Football isn't as simple as, it would have been a draw. We would have been in high spirits. We would have equalized. And maybe we might have went on to win the game. Who knows? That is what football is at the end of the day. And one thing I would say is that I feel for Ruben Amorim. I feel for him. I think he's been left out to dry. He's left out hanging. No, you cannot exempt him from blame for everything. And I do not exempt him from blame. And I repeat, I do not exempt him from blame. I felt that at the end of the game, when it was getting to 20 minutes, 15 minutes to go, maybe he should have threw on some youngsters. Maybe he should have done that. I mean, people could argue that he's protecting those youngsters, and he doesn't want them to play in this shit show of a team, And what I would say in regards to that is that can work either way. I mean, they can play, they might not do well. You say, okay, they didn't work, but you know what? Go back on the training field and you're going to make it as a Man United player. Just keep going. It will give them well-needed experience, of course, guys. Absolutely. Then people tell me, you know what? Then he shouldn't have had them on the bench, but he has to have people on the bench. He has to have players on the bench because he's got no one else. He has to fill up the quota, of course, guys. So he has to have a certain amount of players on the bench. So at the end of the day, you know what? We, in hindsight, can look at things and say, you know what, this went wrong, that went wrong, he done this wrong, he done that wrong. But you know what, this problem has been going on for a very long time, guys. And you know what, we've been through this situation. We've done this before. We've been here before. We've done this under Ruben Amorim. We've done this under Erik ten Hag. We've done this under Jose Mourinho. The same rubbish, a different day. Now, people can argue with me that this is a different team. We've got different players. This manager signed this many players. This manager signed that many players. Well, you know what? If you put a fish into a polluted pond, the fish is going to be polluted. The fish is going to get sick, isn't it? At the end of the day, Man United are a polluted pond. Okay. Now we can sit here and we can shout and scream and cry and argue about what went wrong, what we should do, what Ruben Amorim did wrong, what this player did wrong, what that player did wrong. But ultimately, we could shout at a seed for as long as we want. It doesn't mean that seed is going to grow, does it? At the end of the day, the only way that seed is going to grow if we nurture that seed and we put water on that seed and we expose that seed to sunlight, then slowly that seed will grow. Unfortunately, people think that if you're shouting and screaming and effing and blinding, manager out, that seed is going to grow, and it doesn't. And there's pretty hard evidence to say that it doesn't grow because we've been down this road before. If this went to the court of law, if we went to the court of law right now and we tried to pick the bones out of Manchester United, the manager wouldn't be guilty. It won't be guilty at the end of the day. We need to divert our energy to the people who are at this football club right now, the people who brought a tactical manager, a particular manager like Ruben Amorim, and decided not to back him in the summer. Well, back him with one player, but got rid of 3 players, didn't they? We need to look at those people, the people on top, the people, Ineos and Glazers, who have been doing this, causing these problems for the last 2 decades. We need to look at that, of course, guys. And the sooner we look at that, and the sooner we look at things in a more objective point of view, and not just one point of view that fits a sinister narrative, whether that a player, whether that a manager, and then we're never gonna proceed, or we're never gonna go forward in what we're doing. I've seen a lot of football, but I've seen some great football teams in my time, and I've seen us, under Sir Alex Ferguson, under with 4 years without a trophy. I've seen that. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen people calling names and writing banners and things like that. And I remember those days. I mean, those days, therefore, they were pretty toxic, guys. Even without social media, they were pretty toxic. And you know what? It takes that spark. And right now, Man United are blunt. We've not got no spark. We've got nothing. And we got players on that pitch. Indeed, I'm not going to single out individuals, but as a group, we got players that are simply not up for it. They're not up for the task. And I would say that you can argue about the tactics don't work. He needs to do this. He needs to move this. He needs to stop playing a back 5. Maybe these players just don't fit the system. And at the end of the day, just like I said before, you can't turn Peter Crouch into Ronaldinho. You can't turn, Leighton Orient into prime Barcelona. You can't do it because you ain't got the players to do it. Exactly what that is. at the end of the day. And we can argue about that until we're blue in the face. And that is exactly what it is. You know, we got the captain of the ship. You know what I mean? The captain of the ship, so to speak, who is probably the worst captain I've ever seen as a Manchester United fan. I don't know any captain of, you know, since being a Man United fan, I mean, you're looking at the late 80s, right? Who is as bad as our captain right now, who just, when the chips are down, goes missing. You know what I mean? And I don't know anyone, any player who's captained this great football club as bad as that. And to be honest with you, there's a few players in there. I'm not going to throw the youngsters under the bench, under the bus, because young players will make mistakes. Young players are prone to mistakes. You know, I've seen great players miss open goals. I've seen things like that. You know what I mean? Supporting this football club, I've seen a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insanity. You know, you look at that bench yesterday, you know, exactly what we were talking about in regards to Ruben Amorim and how he's been thrown under the bus is evident there in regards to the bench that we saw yesterday. That was the evidence that we saw, wasn't it? You know, he had 8 youngsters on there. Now, you know what? You got someone like Postecoglou who's coming out and saying, oh, he's had so many injuries. He's had this injuries. He's had that injuries. Someone like Postecoglou coming out and talking absolute nonsense. When I look on Postecoglou's bench and I saw the likes of Udigi, I saw Dembele, of course, guys. I saw Johnson on the bench, guys. You know what I mean? I saw Sarr on the bench. These are not kids. Man United had 8 kids on the bench. 8 kids on the bench. Bear me a second, guys. Bear me a second. Hello? Oh, okay, I'm coming down, sir. I'm coming down. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, I'm going to be back. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Yes, guys, my apologies. So, yeah, that's what I would say. And, you know, I know people are going to come at me and I know people are going to start talking about he done this wrong, he done that wrong, he shouldn't have done this, he should have made substitutions. And I agree. I think in football, in general, you know what? Nobody is perfect, guys. Nobody is perfect. And whatever manager we bring in, you know what? Things are going to be, you know, that we're going to have problems. You know, we're going to have issues. You know, there's always going to be that problem with certain managers, and no matter who you bring in. Now, I don't want to talk about David Moyes because I've heard a lot about that. David Moyes absolutely fucked up this football club when he came in, right? He absolutely messed everything up. So he's partly to blame in regards to what has happened to our football club since we come. So at the end of the day, he messed things up and stuff like that. So I don't want to talk too much about him. But what I would say is that, you know what, we have to be more savvy and intelligent with our opinions and stuff like that. Let me read some of your comments, guys. Let's get into this real quickly. Of course, let's get into this real quickly, guys. Wow. Big up Sanjay. Big up Rasta Stocks. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining. Big up Sanjay. Big up yourself. Nothing we can do other than remain patient. Ruben has come into a right mess and not be backed. Need to stay strong and not fall for the same tricks. I agree. Absolutely. Panjal, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing? Well, Panjal. Good to see you. These misses also cost Ten Hag his job, but the second half, I thought I saw some better football overnight and nowhere, but nowhere near good enough. In the second half, we did, but we're just not ruthless enough. And this has been a problem, as you said, Prajal. You remember the miss from Dalot against West Ham, you know what I mean? And those type of misses that, you know what, 9 times out of 10 you put in the back of the net. Man United have got to stop doing this nonsense, you know, or missing great chances and stuff like that. This is the problem at Man United at the moment. We miss too many chances. And, you know, it does take an opportunity to change everything. As I said, a spark. For example, if Garnacho scores that goal, you know what? Man United could have went on to win that game. Tottenham would have been shaped. They would have been sprung. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And, you know, who knows what would have happened, but it would have given us much more of an opportunity, wouldn't it? Big up SLD, what's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. Big up everyone. Another day, another loss. The transfer window is already caught up to us. It's sooner rather than later, wasn't it, at the end of the day, SLD? But the amount of injuries that we have, you know what, is absolutely ridiculous. What is going on at this football club? Now, we can't blame Ten Hag anymore. I know people wanted to blame Ten Hag every time that we had an injury. It was all Ten Hag's fault. It was all Ten Hag's fault. I know we had that, didn't we, at the end of the day? But you know what? He's no longer here, guys. So who are we going to blame now? Conrad, good morning, sir. But Sam made a mistake of not bringing Kokone and Obi Martin yet Casemiro and on. As I said, Conrad, you know what? A manager's going to make mistakes. And to be honest with you, I would say the only mistake he made is not bringing on Kone and not bringing on Obi Martin far earlier. I would say that. I said that during the game. As a manager, you need to make decisions. And I do believe that, you know, it is a very difficult situation for Ruben Amorim to be in. He's been brought into a right mess. He doesn't want to throw some of these players into the absolute mess that is Manchester United. We have to look at things objectively. That maybe if he threw those players into this mess, it's going to ruin those players. But at the same time, I felt like when it got to 70 minutes or 65 minutes, I felt like, you know what, maybe, you know, it's not working. We need to do something different. And hopefully he can learn from that. You know, I think Ruben Amorim is a fantastic manager. Smashing it at Sporting Lisbon. People calling him a fraud is absolutely dumbfounded because he done it in the Champions League. And I would say that, do you know what I mean? And it was ready to qualify for the next round of the Champions League. Probably would have won the league again with Porto, you know, and with a Sporting Lisbon, excuse me. And to be honest with you, maybe he's giving a message to the board. Maybe he's giving a message to the board. I've got these young players on the bench. No Man United team has had that many young players on the bench. Our average age on the bench was 19 years old, guys. 19 years old was the average age on the bench. You know what I mean? And it's dumb, ridiculous. How he hasn't been backed. How he hasn't been backed. And for people to sit here and just bring a Ruben Amorim. And I've given what I feel about the game in regards to Ruben Amorim, what happened in the game, but we have to call out the owners. We have to start calling out the owners. We have to start calling out Ineos. We have to start calling out Glazers. We have to start them. They brought this manager in. Ruben Amorim wanted to come at the end of the season. Ruben Amorim wanted to come at the end of the season. They brought him in and they didn't back him, knowing that he plays a certain type of football. And they didn't back him. So it's those owners, it's the Glazers, and it's Ineos who've done this. You know what I mean? They're the ones. Another incompetent error from their part. Ineos are really losing out players, but not bringing in any loans to cover our players' injuries. Absolutely, SLD. What can we do now? What can we do now, SLD? I mean, I'm tempted to say, look, we need to get Pogba back, SLD. You know what I mean? I'm tempted to say that. We cancelled the loan of Anthony. But if they cancel the loan of Anthony, they're going to have to give money back to Batiste, and they're going to have to give money back if we cancel loans and stuff like that. You know, we can't catch a break at the moment. We really can't. We can't catch a break. It's like there's some hoodoo around Man United, some curse that is hovering around Man United that we can't quite understand. Do you know what I mean? It's bad. Good morning, Michael. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Of course, good to see you. Hi, sir. Our club is sinking due to the damage done by the Glazers, and they are so sad to see our club. Absolutely, Lisa. And thank you so much for bringing up the most important point here, which is the Glazers and Ineos. The Glazers and Ineos have put us in such a position. Now, look, you know what? They've made a number of mistakes, Ineos and the Glazers. And you know what? Even at the beginning of this season, whatever you think about Eric Ten Hag, they made mistakes and they backed him to the hill, spending a lot of money on the manager again. But then again, I'm not bringing in the managers because I don't think this is just a manager problem. I think there is a fundamental problem in the Man United hierarchy, in Man United as in general, that, you know what, there's a toxicity going around Man United that is very hard to play in that football club. There is a very tense atmosphere at the football club, you know, that is a football club that has lost its way, you know, and we can't put one finger on it and say, like, that is the problem and that needs to change, because we tried everything. We tried everything. We tried the experience. We tried the ex-player. We tried, you know what I mean, the dictator. We tried the tactical genius. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So where are we going to go from here? Gareth Southgate? Sam Allardyce? What do we want at the end of the day, guys? You know, at the end of the day. I think Amram has to take some blame for the game. It looked like we needed some legs in the second half. Yeah, that's the only thing I would blame him for, SLD. And I'm not exempting him from blame from that. I agree with that. I think he should have made changes. He should have been bold. He should have brought on some young players. I mean, what you got to lose? What you got to lose? I mean, 3 minutes for Tito wasn't good. But at the end of the day, look, this is a culmination of what has happened with Ineos and the Glazers not backing Ruben Amorim, not getting him his team. You know, they didn't get him his team. They're not getting him enough. They didn't get him any of his players, really. Because and let's not think Dorgu was one of his players, because they wasn't, because I reported Dorgu in the summer, and Dorgu was a Ineos signing, right? So let's get that out the window. At the end of the day, they haven't got any of Ruben Amorim's signings in, and they haven't got any of his players. They've left him out to dry. They've thrown him with the Sharks. So I know he should have made a couple of changes yesterday. Whether that would have made a difference, I don't know. Hypothetically speaking, we might have lost 2 or 3-0. We might have drew 1-1. We might have won the game. We don't know. You know what I mean? We're not psychic at the end of the day. But one thing I would say is that what is the overriding problem at Man United right now is Ineos and the Glazers. Those are the problems at Man United right now. And the sooner we get this in our heads, the better. Because at the end of the day, now look what's going on. We're planting the seed. You know what I mean? We're going to start attacking another manager be sacked. Another manager comes in, another manager fails again and again, and round we go. We just go round and round, round and round. That's what we do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's about time we stop this and we go, okay, all right. No one is exempt from blame, but the biggest problem at this football club right now is the ownership. That is what the biggest problem is at this football club. Mark, what's going on, my morning sound? The Devils, big up, Mark. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Smash the likes, people. Thank you so much, SLD, you legend. Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. Back after a long time away, and that what a bad time to be back. It's a bad time, guys. Mark, you know what? It's been a bad time for a while for Man United, to be honest with you, for years, to be honest with you. Anytime Man United are not challenging for a league, in my opinion, is a bad time. Of course, absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Sal. 2 things. Big up goals for George. 2 things can be right at the same time, but the simple truth is that, being candid, if the team was flying on the pitch, majority of the fans would not care much about the ownership. Harsh reality. I bring in the 90s goals for George, and I bring in obviously our old ownership. That is very true, goals for George. And under the Glazers, we were flying when Alex Ferguson 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, but that was due to Alex Ferguson. But the problem is very, very overwhelming. The problem at Man United is quite obviously the owners. And we needed, look, at the end of the day, if they were going to bring in a manager like Ruben Amorim, right, who has a unique style of football, who requires his own players, right, wouldn't it be advisable to wait until the end of the season if you're not going to back him? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, the ownership are the problem. Ineos are the problem. The Glazers have been the problem. The Glazers are a curse on this football club. They're a curse on this football club. And the Glazers need to go. The Glazers need to go. Jim Ratcliffe facilitated the Glazers. Jim Ratcliffe's still at this football club. And whilst they're still at the football club, I don't think we're going to get anywhere. I don't care who we have in charge. I don't care what player we have. I don't care what manager we have. I just don't think we're gonna get to where we need to go, because we don't have the ownership. And I'm so glad that we've got a protest happening on the 9th of March at Old Trafford against Arsenal. And let's hope that it's not enough. It's not enough. We need to hit their pockets. Man United fans, we need to hit their pockets. No more merchandise. None of that. No more tickets. Empty the stadium. That's what we need to do. And it's what I said years ago, which I created the 58th minute walkout. That's what we need to do. You know what? Nothing is absolute. We cannot exclude everything, and you cannot include everything. And that's absolutely right. But what we can say is that what is the reason for this cancer? What is the reason for this cancer? What is the reason? Oh, you've been smoking your whole life. Okay, that's the reason. The Glazers are the cigarettes. Ineos are the cigarettes. Absolutely. Michael, we should have patience for Amram. He wanted to come in the summer. Ineos said no, absolutely. Now he is here trying to sell him system across. He doesn't have the players and player systems. So a very, very intelligent comment from Michael here again. And this is why I like Michael, because he comes out with some great stuff. And he's very, very objective and fair in his opinion in regards to the manager. He doesn't overreact. At the end of the day, these problems have not been happening since January. These problems have been happening since bloody 10 years now. So it is what it is. Was that Ratcliffe calling you? If it was Jim Ratcliffe, I would have kidnapped him myself, my friend. Absolutely. I would have kidnapped him and locked him in a room and absolutely fed him scraps. That's what I would have done. Big up. Bruno the stinker. He goes into panic mode and spamming balls forward. Bruno, as I said earlier in the show, SLD, that Bruno is the worst captain I've ever seen play for Man United. And I'm being honest, guys. Bruno is the worst captain. Guys, correct me, right? Bruno is the worst captain I've ever seen in my life. The worst captain I've ever seen in my life. SLD, Almac, Sir Jim and Sal talking about him immediately calls him. Absolutely. Goodness me. Yeah. I don't think he would talk to me. I think he'd rather put a hit on me than anything, basically. When you see the movie, you see what Amram, you see what it is heading with for Amram. The owners know that the toxicity will shine light on them and cut their losses with Amram soon. And you know what? They've led him into the path. They led him into the fire, goals to George. They led him into a false sense of security. They're the ones who led him into a road to failure, And you know what happens when you sack the manager, guys? You know what happens? You buy them time. We get a new manager bounce. You buy them time. That's what happens. We've been down this road before. Goals for George. We've seen this movie before, haven't we? We've seen episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bloody hell. We bought the magazines and bought the mug. That's what we've done. We've seen everything in regards to this football club. We know at the end of the day what the Glazers are going to do. They're going to say, oh my goodness me, look at the negativity. Bring it more onto Ruben Amram. Push it onto Ruben Amram. Part of me feels like they want negativity. Part of me feels like they feel like, oh, you know what? We're not going to spend money. But what we're going to do, right? We're not going to support Ruben Amram, so he fails. So all the energy of the fans and the toxicity goes towards Ruben Amram. Genius. That's what they do. And then most of the people, a lot of people online, social media and stuff are talking about Ruben Amram. He should have done this. He should have done that. Yeah, he's got a backlog of players from the flipping days of bloody Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Ratcliffe heard the criticism. Rank say, what should the run club do the better job, do a better? I mean, if I was in charge of Man United would be champions. Sorry, guys, but I think a lot of Man United fans, if they run this football club, will be close to champions because we know the quality. We know what we have to do. You know what I mean? This is why, I would love Man United to be owned by the fans. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Goals for George. I heard every position on the table is 3 million more. If this is true, the money will make the decision for them. as they could lose a possible 34 minutes if they foul continues on the table. I think personally goes to George. I think if he doesn't qualify for the Champions League via the Europa League, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the trigger. And you know what? That would be absolute travesty, because another great manager with a great future, a bright future, smashing it in the Champions League, you know what I mean? Beating the likes of Man City 4-1, you know, and, you know, getting sacked, just like Erik ten Hag was. A great manager, great future, you know what I mean? Getting sacked, you know what I mean? And ruining his career. You know, we're the career killers. We are. And that is because of the Glazers and Ineos. Mark, the team is performing associate Amram makes one change 2 minutes on the end. I know. At the end of the day, if I was going to criticize Ruben Amorim about anything, was that he didn't bring on the young players. But at the end of the day, that is all hypothetical now. And what would have happened, what wouldn't have happened. It might have worked. It might have not worked. It might have been 3-0. He might have got equalized. You never know what would have happened at the end of the day. It's quite obvious that Ruben Amorim doesn't trust these young players. He only had these young players on the bench because he has to fill up the quota of the substitutes at the end of the day. He works with them every single day. We don't work with them every single day. And we will be lying to say that we know the ins and outs of every one of those players. I would argue, however, that the likes of Kone and Chido should have come in a lot earlier. Kone should have replaced Casemiro. Casemiro's legs were completely gone in the game, absolutely kaput. And I would have brought on Chido Obi Martin earlier. But it is what it is. Why do you bring Kuya on the 91st and playing 2 minutes? Fuck, the boy didn't even touch the ball. He didn't touch the ball once. I mean, I find it hard at the end of the day. Have you seen the upcoming fixture list? The finish up to the season, we will avoid relegation, but there will be lots of embarrassing results to come. Almac, you know what? I'm dreading the games coming up, brother. I'm dreading the games. I'm dreading the game against Everton. You know, Everton are going to be up for this game with David Moyes. You know, they're going to be really up for this game. You know, we've got Arsenal at home. We've got Man City at home. And we all know that we don't play well at home, do we? I'm looking at the fixture list and, you know, we got Aston Villa, you know, and I'm looking at it right now and I'm looking at, it's going to be difficult, guys. You know, hold on to your hats because it's going to get worse, guys. It's going to get worse at the end of the day. It is going to get worse. And what can we do? At the end of the day, you know, what can we do? Mark, the owners don't give a single F about who's having to struggle, and so does the comeback. Absolutely, this is what it all boils down to, guys. We can have our arguments about any manager we want. We could sack Ruben Amorim. We can get another manager in. He's going to have the same problems, guys. He's going to have the same problems. He is. It's not going to, it might get a little bit better. You know, as I said, I don't care if we come 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 4th, or 15th. We're not challenging for the league anyway. So at the end of the day, I don't really care, you know, about what silly position we finish in the league. I mean, because Man United should be challenging for the league every single season, in my opinion. That's what I was raised upon. That's what I grew up watching. Man United should be obviously like that. Do you know what I mean? Mark, you know what? Fingers crossed. We have to pray. We have to hope that Man United get better. We hope that one day it gets better and one day we get back to our rightful place at the top of the league. You know, I want us to remember these times. I want us to remember these times and how hard it was. You know what I mean? That's what I want. You know, the difficulties that we're suffering right now as Man United fans. And let's not get it twisted. Regardless of our opinions, regardless how we feel, we're all suffering, guys. Every single one of us is suffering. You know what I mean? And you know, we want what's best for this football club. You know what I mean? If I knew the answer, I would make sure it happens. I would love it to happen. You know, if I knew the answer, I'm sure that any Manchester United fan wants the same. You know, at the end of the day, I don't care even if we had to remove every single one of those players. I have no emotional affiliation with players or managers. What I have is an emotional affiliation with Manchester United, where I supported all my life. You know, at the end of the day, you know, if I knew the magic answer, if I had a magic wand, I would make it happen. Do you know what I mean? Our football is sinking before our eyes. Yeah, whilst you're owned by a bad ownership, you're going to sink. The ship is going to be sinking, and we got a bad captain too. So you know what? The worst thing to do on a sinking ship is have a bad captain. Of course, guys, absolutely. Michael, I was surprised Emma didn't change it at Casemiro for Kone. Sometimes a leader, you need to take that risk and come on. Yes, Mike. I would absolutely agree with that because Alex Ferguson, when Sir Alex Ferguson was manager of Man United, I hate to bring it to the past. I know it's a difficult time at the moment, guys. But when Alex Ferguson became the Man United manager, he made risks. He took risks. He got rid of certain players. And he made changes when you needed to make changes. If Alex Ferguson didn't bring on Teddy Sheringham and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the Champions League final, we wouldn't have won the Champions League final. Football, he's a 39, 40-year-old manager, is Ruben Amorim. And you know what? He will learn from that. But one thing we will understand is that it's a very, very difficult time for this football club. He's been brought into an absolute mess, an absolute crap show of a team, of a squad, and an atmosphere. And you know what? I would give him until next season. I would give him to next season. I would give him his transfer window. I'll give him a few of his players. And if by next season things are not good, then we can move on. But at the moment, we can't sack the manager again, because we're going to start again a backlog of players that are not there, that new managers, of course. What can we do at the end of the day? Come and save us, Qatar. Alison, we said it, didn't we? I mean, I did say that at the end of the day, Arabs build things, Zionists destroy things. Anyway, sorry about that. Did you see Idios' name was on the dugout seats? Yeah, they sponsor Tottenham Hotspur. They sponsor Tottenham Hotspur, don't they? At the end of the day. Yeah, it was ironic, wasn't it, John O'Connell? It was ironic, very ironic. Sound like an Alanis Morissette now. That money could have got Tao. There you go. You know what I mean? There you go. I mean, anyone. John, you know what? We could have got anyone. I mean, anyone to fill up the squad. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, there are players out there. There are players out there that we could have got on a free transfer. Just make the move. Fill up the squad. Do you know what I mean? Now, look. Mark, these owners let Amron down badly. Anyone who dares to talk shit about Amron should give up football, because honestly, you don't know football then. Mark, I can't argue with you, brother. I can't argue with you. But what I would say is that I would criticize. Everyone is entitled to criticize. People make mistakes, and we'll call out those mistakes at the end of the day. But blaming blaming Amorim, just like blaming Eric Ten Hag, was the wrong thing to do. And I did say it back then. I said it about Jose Mourinho. I've said it about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I said it about Eric Ten Hag. The same thing. And now I'm saying it about Ruben Amorim. Sacking a manager won't do nothing, because there is a fundamental problem at Man United. We've got a curse over us, a black cloud hovering over us, which is not going to disappear anytime soon, of course. Now, guys, let me just read out some comments, obviously, from the media. And let me just get this up real quickly. Let's get this up. Spare me a second, guys. 1 second.
No, I think the big difference was the goal they scored. We didn't score. We had the chances. We tried a different approach with the players that we had. We had to change during the week, and I'm really pleased with the effort and the way they challenge Tottenham. We create situations. So in the end, I think the biggest difference was that they score and we didn't.
Just on the injured players, which ones do you think could be available for next game?
It's hard to know. It's hard to know. Let's wait a few more days. I think Lenny and Chris they were sick, so they will recover. Of course, Chris has the heart situation, and we have to be really careful with that. It's nothing about the heart. I'm just saying the heart rate has to be controlled because he has fever. It's just sorry guys about the situation. So I think they will recover that, and the rest we will see. I think Kobe is out. Ahmad is out for sure. I think until the end of the season, we'll see the rest.
With Kobe, is that case months, weeks?
I don't know. Let's see. I think weeks.
Laurie.
Could anything have been done regarding his injuries, do you think, differently? Or just a case of bad luck?
No, I think everything together. Ahmad was alone. He was doing a tackle. The feet was stick in the grass. Some players felt during training. sickness. So is everything. We try everything to have the players fit. We always talk about my changes game by game to try to have the players fit. And then I was always asking for 1 week. In 1 week, we lost so many players. So sometimes we have one moment that everything is going wrong.
Yeah, so you know what? Fairly straightforward from Ruben Amorim there. Fairly straightforward in regards to that, guys. You know, football's a game of fine margins at the end of the day, and he's got a point there in regards to the players that they scored. Tottenham, we didn't. Pretty obvious. We lost 1-0, but if we put that ball in the back of the net from Garnacho, then it is a different story, innit? And we weren't composed. We weren't composed. When we got in front of goal, when we got into the final third, as has been the case for a long time at Man United. You know, it is obviously a big issue that we have to solve. We really do, guys. We really do. Let me read some key quotes from the actual full presser, of course. In regards to Matthijs de Ligt, I think if you lose, a lot has to improve. At the moment, we are not near where Manchester United belongs. Absolutely. We are not winning games. There are a lot of things to improve. Spot on from de Ligt there. If I knew the solution, I would have said it. And so would I, guys. We would win games. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things that need to improve. And I think, first of all, we have to look to ourselves to be responsible and we have to stick together. If we are doing everything on our own, we are never going to get results. Is that a little bit of a hint that there are some greedy players in that side? I mean, I don't know. Is that a little bit of a hint? What do you think? He also went, de Ligt said, I think the urgency, the hunger to score, that is something that may be lacking. That's not only on the attackers, it's also on the midfield and the defenders. It's a team thing, and we definitely need to improve. I think you can say confidently has taken a real hit. Confidence has taken a real hit, especially in the Premier League. If you lose the confidence, you lose the game. I agree. And in regards to talking about attackers and talking about scoring goals, yes, it's not just the attackers who score goals. The whole team, the balance of the team has to contribute towards scoring goals. Dalot yesterday, not crossing the ball when needed to cross the ball. Garnacho, not picking up the overlapping run when there's an overlapping run. And the only time Dorgu got the ball was when he crossed it, and he crossed it well. And we didn't do that enough, guys. We didn't do that enough, of course. De Ligt also said, we need to stick together and try and put our finger on what went wrong. What is the difference in this game, why we lose the game, and why we don't win? It's not enough for United. We are not winning enough. We are not scoring chances enough, conceding too many goals. I think there are a lot of things that should improve, and hopefully it will be a bit better soon. I mean, I hope a lot better soon. I really do. Picking out some quotes from Ruben Amorim's conference of guys. Sometimes you want Bruno to reach the ball in the build-up because he's really good at switching the play. But then you want Bruno also to press, and it's really hard. And when you are changing all the time to get the players to react to the base, it's really hard. Bruno had a shocking game yesterday, by the way. A shocking game again. I felt the team was good at during the game, and I didn't feel the need to change. Then Chido is that player, one long ball, and he could make the difference. Chido in the box is very clever. So we needed to pick him up earlier. We need to play him earlier. That's what we needed to do. 4-4-2 in the low block is harder to play against this team than what we did today. That's my opinion. They also open and stretch at the team. What you see, guys, and what you discuss every week, I also see. I have a lot of problems. My job is so hard here, but I stick with my beliefs. We lost 6-1 to Tottenham. Let's not forget, not long ago, guys. We've lost 3-0 to Tottenham. We've lost lots of times to Tottenham, even before Ruben Amorim, of course, guys. We tried a different approach with the players we had. We changed during the week. Really pleased with the effort. We created situations. The biggest difference was they scored. Yeah, as we saw that one, of course. They will play during the season. We will have games in the Cup and the Europa in Europe, and they will play. I felt it. I think every day, everybody can feel it. We are near the goal. I don't want to change the players when we are near it. You grow and you learn a lot of things. We just need to face and not run away. We have to face it and not run away. That is my feelings. Today, we hurt. It is tough pain to lose so many games, but then you can change things in a week. And we need to change it very, very soon, of course. It was the difference of the game. They scored and we didn't. We had the opportunities. We had situations and transitions trying to get the result. But in the end, they scored and we didn't. And we have to be more ruthless, guys. This is the problem with Manchester United at the moment. We are nowhere near ruthless enough. Nowhere near, of course. We want to recover the players. I think we can recover some players for the next game. We have to be together to finish the season and start over. Hopefully things get better. Hopefully. We have to wait until Everton's going to be a tough game. They'll be up for it. I'm not worried. I understand our fans, what the media think about it. I hate to lose. That feeling is the worst. The rest I am not thinking about. I am here to help my players. I understand my situation, my job. I'm confident on my work and I trust and I just want to win games. The place in the table is my worry. I am not worried about me. Yeah, we have to worry about the position in the table, of course. It is the hardest competition in the world. I'm trying to be careful with them. I felt the team was pushing for the goal, and I felt I don't want to change, but they will play. You have to try and read the game. Understand what you see in training. The team, we are pushing for the goal, and I didn't feel they needed to change. This is one thing we have to understand, guys, is that, you know what, Ruben Amorim is in training. He sees his players every single day, doesn't he? Ahmad is out for the rest of the season. He did a tackle and his feet got stuck in the grass, as we saw, of course, and that is very devastating news. We missed Ahmad yesterday, of course. Big time, guys. Big time we missed Ahmad. We did. Let's get through some of your comments. Fans should stop blaming individual players because they try and have good games and bad games. The only player I doubt they're having is Dalot. Anthony looks good now. Bruno too. Bruno was awful yesterday. Goals for George. Guys, Bruno, he was awful yesterday. He's been awful for ages. Michael Amorim has a lot of patience. He has got Ahmad, got Mainu, he's got Shaw, he's got Mount, he's got Ugarte, he's got Martins, all at the same time in hospital. Exactly, Mark. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. The problem is people don't want to hear that, do they? Because they have a narrative that needs to be fed. And that's what they do, unfortunately. TG, what's going on, my friend? I cannot believe that some so-called expert blame Amorim for not coaching Tim properly. The same people who want Højlund, Bruno and Garnacho gone are for not being good enough. It is what it is, JK. Sal, you know why I have no pity for managers in United's in form? Because, look, goals for George, at the end of the day, I'm not interested because I'm interested about the ownership. And whilst these ownerships are still at this football club, we're still going to get these results regardless who's at this football club. And that's what I would say. If Man United sack Amorim because of the Glazers and Ineos sit, then I quit United. Mark. Wow. I would never quit this football club. It's not what I do, of course. Amorim don't trust the young, but he trusts Casemiro. Shit and mind blowing. He works with them every single training session, Mark, so I trust him. Amak, I don't think United can get more embarrassing than what we are already. Relegation could be pretty embarrassing, Mark. My goodness. I don't understand why Garnacho didn't play a pass to Dorgu when he made the overlapping run. And this is what I talk about, SLD. I talk about intelligence, in-game intelligence, in-game decisions that can change a game. If Garnacho scores that goal, it's a different... We're singing from a different hymn sheet this morning. You know what I mean? This is the fickle nature of football, right? Decision-making on the pitch is awful. Bruno has been probably the worst player in the season when you weigh it up, as he's our captain. He should be a lot better. He's probably been one of the worst players of the season and gives away too many balls and definitely can't play in the number 8 position and definitely our worst captain I've ever seen. And we have to look at things as a whole. But in regards to the young players, in regards to players like Garnacho, they need to learn and they need to learn quickly that when the man is open, you look up. You look up, you always look up, you look up again. And then when you see that, you make the right choice. We are lucky we have 12-point lead in the relegation battle because we're in current form. Let's see what happens, Armac, in the next few weeks, of course. Let's see what happens. at the end of the day. Let's see what happens. If I have to be brutally honest, there is no way we will ever see any improvement as long as we are stuck with the Glazers and the Neos. Thank you so much, Mark. You said it there, Mark. You said it there. Exactly. No matter what, we play 4-4-2, 4-3-3. We played them all. We played all the formations. What do you want us to do? I'm tired of hearing about, what this manager does, this manager that. We've done every formation. We've been defensive. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played 5 at the back. At the end of the day, we've done it. We've been there, done it, won the T-shirt. Morning. Big up, my friend. Big up yourself. Big up, everyone. What are your impressions of Managerial yesterday? Okay. But it's a body, isn't it, Almac? It's a body, decent player, but I'm not overwhelmed by him. He wasn't like, wow. But you know what? He did okay. I mean, Man United generally were in the game, to be honest with you. We need a genuine miracle. Yeah. Man United need a divine inspiration, Cargo. Divine inspiration. So, do you perhaps have a sheikh that knows how to make guitar? Please. I was on Guitar Television, Mark. People will know me. I've been on Guitar Television. I preach the full sell of Manchester United with various outlets, BN Sports. Obviously, people know me. I've worked with Jason McAteer, obviously, former Liverpool player, works on BN Sports. So, I've spoken to a lot of these people, and Sheikh Jassim would have bought the club if Ruben Amorim, if Jim Ratcliffe wasn't around, guys. I mean, was the dinner? Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, would it have worked? That's the only thing. Anthony's agent said he will be back at United in July. Yeah, well, let's wait and see. Of course. I mean, obviously, he didn't rate him, did he? Ahmed is out. We have Biancheri doing super good in the youth. Bring the boy in and play him. Mark, I don't disagree with you, mate. I agree. I mean, just bring him in. What have we got to lose, mate? What have we got to lose? I'll say that. Do you know what I mean? Some players, they might shine. And something might happen. Do you know what I mean? And, it might work. Ava, what's going on? If Rashford was still at United, would he have been on the bench yesterday, not getting any? Rashford doesn't perform for 18 months. So, you know what? He was just as bad. We were losing with him. You know what I mean? We're losing without him. It's the same thing at the end of the day. Everyone could see the game was going south at some time. There was nothing to lose given 30 Cheetah. I agree, Gladiator King. I agree. But at the same time, maybe he didn't want to bring him into this absolute mess to ruin his confidence and his mental stability. Maybe he wanted to do that. We all geniuses in hindsight, guys. And I would say this, that in football, you need to take risks. Winners take risks. And I've said this many times. You know what? People would be much more softer if he made the changes on Ruben Amorim. He brought in a few youngsters, but that's not to say Cheetah would have went on there and absolutely smashed it, because he's playing against men here, not boys in the youth. So we have to understand it from a different point of view. If we brought him on early, we might have lost even more. We might have won. We might have drawn, and we don't know, do we? The only thing is we look at law of averages, and what I would have done is that I would have brought on some young players around the 60th minute. I would have done that. Fresh legs. I would have said, right, lads, on you go. This is your opportunity. Show me what you're made of. Show me what you can do on the pitch. That's what I would have done. I would have done that. I would have said, guys, this is your opportunity. Man, you're playing for Man United now. Get up, get on the pitch, show me what you can do. Don't make me regret it. Guys, what do you think about this statement? Bruno is washed and should be shipped out to Saudi. I agree with that statement, Mark. I don't hate Bruno. I don't dislike Bruno. He's just not that player. He's not that captain. He's not that player that we should be looking at. Absolutely not. What are the Qatari people like? Nice people, Almac. Everyone in the Middle East is nice. They're nice people. They look after you, mate. Absolutely. One day you'll come here. One day you'll come here. God Almighty, then he says something like that. That's not very godly, my friend. Absolutely. Yeah. Hypocrisy is rife these days. Absolutely. Gladiator. Yeah, true about Obi, but there was no way United was winning the match. Yeah, I think what you're, Gladiator, I think you're right. And as I said at the top of the show, nobody is exempt from criticism. And if I was to give Ruben Amorim, I think the team did pretty well in the second half. I thought the team dominated the game, but we weren't going to score. He just felt that we weren't going to score in the game. And what I would say is that maybe just take a risk, be brave. He's only 40 years old. As a manager, he's young, isn't it? So what I would say to him, learn from it and be brave. take risks. Because at the end of the day, you lose 1-0, you lose 2-0, it doesn't really matter. Just go out there and say, guys, do you know what? Kone, Cheeto, Aiden Heaven, all these players, Morehouse, you know what? Go out there, show me what you can do. Show me, prove to me that you are worthy of playing for Man United. Of course, we've got many games coming up. There are games coming up. So, you know what? It would have been great if we gave them some time. I mean, what I would compliment Eric Ten Hag about is that Eric Ten Hag weren't afraid to play youth. Eric Ten Hag obviously gave Mainu, Garnacho, Collier their games. And Scalnion is given game time to. So at the end of the day, you could say that, you know what? Eric Ten Hag has given game time to some of these players. Do you know what I mean? I think he gave Amas one game as well. I'm not too sure, but I think he gave Amas game time as well, if I'm being honest, of course. I'm really so over Bruno. He is really I mean, we need to start moving on from Bruno. The last time we didn't play Bruno, we won 7-1 against Barnsley, didn't we? At the end of the day, you know, maybe we should try something different. In my opinion, guys, what I would like, and this is my opinion, guys, I think Man United need a complete overhaul. I think Man United need a completely new team. I think if that means bringing on 6, 7, 8 youngsters, do it. You know what I mean? I'm saying this right now. If it means doing that, I would say do it. That's my opinion. I think it's obviously not working with this team. They're obviously not good enough. They're obviously not got the IQ to do various systems, not only one system, but various systems. I would say that change the whole team. Change it. What you got to lose? What I would say is that let's get safe in the league. Let's win the next couple of games. Let's get safe in the league, right? And then just play youngsters and see what happens next season. Maybe some of those youngsters will come through. You know what I mean? And be a regular next season. Remember Mainu, right? And people remember raving about Mainu. And then Mainu becoming England international in one season. 6 months. He ended up playing for England in a European final. That is how football can change. And that is how, if you give opportunity, as Alex Ferguson said, you play youngsters, they seldom let you down. If you don't play youngsters, they will stagnate and they will drift away. You have to give them a chance. You have to believe in the youth. Youth, courage, and success. That is what we've always said at Man United, isn't it? Youth, courage, and success. That's what we have always said, of course. Keeping for next season. I would say the only United players I'm keeping for next season, Mark, good question, by the way, are Mainu, Euro, De Ligt. If this was me, right, guys, if this was me, obviously we got Dorgu's just come in the door. That's 4. You know, we got Dorgu. I would keep Garnacho as an impact sub. I think he's a good impact sub. And Ugarte, 6. At the moment, 6. And that's not including the young players, guys. The young players are there as well. I've got 6. Ahmad as well, 7. 7 players. So that is my 7 that I would keep. You got to keep Ahmad. You got to keep Ugarte. You got to keep Mainu. You got to keep Dorgu. You got to keep De Ligt. You got to keep Mazraoui. You got to keep Euro. Diego Leon won't be. He's there next season. So yeah, yeah, that's what I would say. Have you heard about the racial abuse on? No, I haven't heard about it. Gladiator King, what's happened? He's a Moroccan brother, isn't he? He's a Moroccan brother, isn't he? I haven't heard about that. It's disgraceful if it is at the end of the day. Disgraceful at the end of the day. We support our Man United ex-players, of course, guys. That's what we do at Man United. We support our players. We support every player who play for this great football club, and we don't condone racism in any kind, of course, guys. Absolutely not. That is disgraceful if that is true. I haven't heard much about Hannibal lately, of course. As with Zidane Iqbal, I haven't heard nothing about them recently. Hopefully they're forming a great career for themselves. I mean, obviously, coming to Man United and playing in Man United these days is not an easy task. It is a hard job. You know, there's a lot of problems at Man United. Could Onana have done better with the go? Yes. By the way, I was going to bring in that. Onana could have done a lot better. And it's not the first time Onana has pushed the ball out to an opposition player. It's not the first time. He's done that on more than one occasion. It's not the first time he's pushed it out. He could have pushed that out, way out. That's not to say that the defenders shouldn't have been ready and alert. They should have been, right? Dalot was marking the same player as Mazraoui. Dalot's IQ is low. It's in the bin. And, but at the end of the day, Onana Should have done better. Push it out that way. Any great keeper would have pushed it out that way. Makes me laugh. Guys, let me just get in through with some of these player ratings for you guys real quickly. Some of the player ratings of the team, of course. So here is the player ratings for the team. I give Anana a 4.8. He was the reason for the goal. I felt he could have prevented the goal. I really do. I think De Ligt was okay. Didn't put a foot wrong, really. 6.0. Nothing special. Maguire, couple of errors here and there, but you know what? Didn't really do anything wrong. 5.7. Mazraoui got a 5.6. I thought the defense was fairly average. Didn't really have to do anything. Dalot, again, atrocious. Output, awful. No crossing of the ball, reluctance to go forward, which is the reason Man United tend to play a 5, because he does not go forward enough. He's not brave enough. He needs to do better. He really does. Bruno Fernandes, a 4.1 as the captain. Absolutely atrocious again. Awful from Bruno Fernandes, giving away the ball. Too many hero balls. Too much space between him and Casemiro. Really poor. 5.5 from Casemiro. Average. Not the worst player, but average. Tired in the second half as well. And yeah, he did a lot of hard work, Graf, though, in fairness. Dorgu, really good. Loads of overlapping runs. Not his fault he wasn't picked out. Giving him a 7 for this game, because I felt it was a great game for him to come into the... It was really good to see a natural-sided left-back, wasn't it? It was good to see. Garnacho needed to pick him out a lot better. I give Garnacho a 6. Garnacho, I know he missed the chances. I know what he done. I know he missed a few chances. But one thing Garnacho guarantees is he makes things happen. He makes things happen. And when Garnacho gets the ball, things do happen. He's just in-game intelligence is not as great as it should be. He needs to improve that tenfold, of course. Xerxes, very impressive Xerxes, keeping the ball very well. Some of his touches, guys, I don't want to bring in Eric Cantona, but some of his touches were Cantona-esque, right? Very decent on the ball, very brilliant, keeping the ball. He's improving, and fair play to Joshua Xerxes. Absolutely fair play to Joshua Xerxes. Rasmus Højlund, hard shift, graveyard shift, 5.5. Held up the ball a lot better. A couple of good shots, but you know what? A little bit of a below average performance again. Loads of oranges there, of course, which needs to improve. We need more greens in this team, guys. We're not getting nowhere near enough greens in this team, of course, guys. Absolutely not. In regards to the substitution, there was only one, and that was Chido Obi Martin. Didn't touch the ball, but for him getting his debut, I give him a 6, guys. I give him a 6 because, you know what? He made his debut. Fair play to him. Congratulations to him. The man of the match for me, the man of the match was Joshua Xerxes, guys. He got a 7.1. Joshua Xerxes was the man of the match, in my opinion. It was between him and Dorgu, but I have picked Joshua Xerxes because the way he's picked himself up over these last few weeks has been absolutely incredible, of course. In regards to Ruben Amorim, I give him a 5. In-game management, poor. Didn't make the substitutions when needed and lost the game. And that is the nature of the beast, unfortunately, guys. Unfortunately for that, of course. In regards to the Daily Telegraph, Jim Ratcliffe is a tax exile who doesn't get football, claims Labour donor. Dow Vince hits out at Manchester United co-owner for looming redundancies at the Premier League club. Very telling from the Telegraph, of course. People know me. I've had the Telegraph on this channel, of course, guys. He quoted, costs are cut, lives affected while the football decline continues. This is what happens when a billionaire tax exile takes over a football club. Football is about community and being a part of something. Jim Ratcliffe doesn't get that. There you go, guys. Absolutely spot on there. On the money from Dow Vince of the Telegraph, guys. Absolutely on the money. Have a look at that. It's your evidence for it. And then the quote's absolutely spot on, my friends. Absolutely spot on. I agree with everything in regards to that quote, of course. Guys. Man United fouled. Big up, Chiji. Good morning, Mr. South. Good morning, Chiji. Hope you're doing well. Only keeping Bayern there, number 2, Delit, Maz, and Nacho, Ahmad, Euro, to sadly, Mainu. Sadly, Licha has to go. His knee. Yeah, I agree, Mark. I think Licha needs to go. No, that's no disrespect to him. I think he's been one of our best signings in the last 11 years, but injuries caught out with him. And, you know, he doesn't just get injuries. He gets serious injuries as well, doesn't he? He gets bad injuries. And that's something we have to clear out, of course, or, you know, that at the football club. So it's 50-50 to play as a left or right attacking midfielder. Absolutely. I think Xerxes was brilliant yesterday, and I'll give him his props. Absolutely. Big up, LT. What's going on, my friend? Sorry I'm late. Yesterday's game just showed how much Ineos and the Glazers screwed us over. Only one senior player on the bench, and this is what we are talking about during January chat. This is exactly what we're talking about for ages, isn't it, LT? Absolutely spot on. I absolutely agree with that, LT. Spot on, mate. Very good comment, as usual, LT. Very balanced, and you understand it, mate. You understand it, mate. Absolutely. Absolutely. You understand it. And you know what? I agree with that. I agree with that. And maybe, just maybe, he's making a stand. Just maybe he's making a stand, of course, guys. Maybe he's making a stand, of course. Maybe Ruben Amorim is making a stand in regards to these youngsters to the board. That, you know what? Look what you've left me with. You left me with a bunch of kids. Maybe he's making that stand. Maybe he's doing that. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say. But all in all, another disappointing day for Manchester United, another sad day for Man United, for the fans. And I just hope one day I will come on here and give us some positive news and talk about things positively, because you know what? I'm fed up with negativity, guys. I really am. I'm really fed up with negativity. I'm fed up with all this dramas and stuff like that. We've been through this with Eric Ten Hag, of course. We've been through there before at the end of the day. How's that? Let's give those kids a chance now. So-called well-known and established players can't give it. I agree with Chichi. Big up with Chichi. Thank you for joining me today. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm back later on for Chatterbox. Don't forget to join me for that. Absolutely great to have you on board. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new and smash a like on the video, guys. You're absolute legends. Look, it can only get better, guys. You know what I mean? That's all I can say. That's all I can say. And we got a tough ride. It's going to be a rocky ride. And, you know, whatever will be, will be. That's it. Hopefully, we're going to Wembley by the end of the season. Hopefully, you know what? Things will get better. We hope. And that's all we can say. One thing we can't do is fall into the same trap that we've been falling into for years. It's insanity at the end of the day. We've got to stop doing that. We absolutely do have to stop doing that, falling into the same rubbish, of course, guys. Everyone, family, thank you so much for joining me. See you later for Chatterbox, of course. And yeah, another week to kick off. Another week. We have to wait another week for the Everton game. And hopefully we're ready this time. Take it easy, guys. Have a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. Wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Thank you very much. Take care. Peace.